What's up, everybody? Everybody. So I have been doing a lot of research on tea. And I thought an interesting fact I would share with you guys today is about the fact that one plant produces 3 kinds of tea, depending on what time or when exactly it's harvested. The leaves are harvested because it's the leaves that produce the tea. I thought that was pretty interesting. So basically the same plant can produce black tea, oolong tea, or green tea. Go figure. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I like all those teas. I drink all those teas. But oolong tea and green tea I think are the best for me. Black tea has too much, I don't know, I feel like it dehydrates me. Like it does make me feel, better than drinking coffee, that's for sure. But I think green tea is ideal for me, but oolong tea is good after that. It's the next best thing after that, I guess. But yeah, that's one of the things I've been reading about. Yeah, the background I have today is, you can kind of see the red. The red is supposed to be amaranth. Those are some really big amaranth plants, though. I don't think they get that big naturally. But I guess some of them might get that big, but they're usually like half that size or that thickness. And then to the right, that's supposed to be tea plants. Not specifically green tea, but the plant that produces green tea, black tea, and oolong tea. So yeah, I'm pretty close to closing on this property. I just got the paper notarized, and I've been doing some research, and it's kind of close to a waterfront, and that's not always a good thing, because it might have a lot of clay, which will make it difficult to pass a perk test. And to pass a perk test is what's needed to get a septic system, at least a traditional septic system. But luckily I bought it in a state where they don't have county of the state that they don't have super strict regulations when it comes to septic or sanitation, whatever they call that field, that category. But I don't know, I don't really intend to live there. I mean, if I could live there, I would, but if there's, some kind of environmental issue that won't allow me to live there, at least I'll be able to grow stuff and, put a pond, have some fish, because renting in that county is ridiculously cheap either way. So I could just, get a place for like 6 months. I mean, the main reason I want it is because I want a mailbox because I'm always traveling. I mean, I probably will continue to travel for the next 10 years. So I don't have any plans to settle down in just one area anytime soon. So I'll keep doing that. And I'll be bouncing around from like the cheap parts of the US. I was actually looking at fighting in Ohio. I saw there's a promotion in Ohio just because it's not that far away, and I think if I get to pay for a Waco membership, which is like kind of a license, a kickboxing license, they will, they have list events that are close by. I'm not saying I'm staying in Ohio, but it's not super far away. But if I sign up for a Waco membership, which is a kickboxing organization that sanctions most kickboxing events in the US, and I could just, use that so that I can fight and get my physical done, and I can just fight wherever there's sanctioned Waco fights. I don't necessarily have to, because I actually got my license is for New York right now, and it's good for like 4 more years, but the thing about New York is it's it's kind of far and it's expensive. If I was to fight in New York, I would have to get a hotel. Food is expensive, so I mean, if I can save money, like if I could make a living fighting, that'd be great. But like I always say, and I've said before, I don't really fight to become a star. I fight it because I like to fight. So, but at the end of the day, I still need to, save money, and it's not getting any easier to make money. So I can get experience anywhere. I don't have to go all the way to New York. But yeah, that's pretty much my next step. Getting a Waco membership. For those of you that are interested in kickboxing, that might be an easy way to go if you want to compete in events. And one thing about training in kickboxing is just because the gym has really good marketing and a lot of famous fighters train there doesn't necessarily mean that it's a great gym. A lot of these gyms are not great. A lot of them are just regular mediocre gyms. Sometimes they're less than mediocre. They just have pro fighters training there because these big name guys, you know, they don't want to pay for their training. They can fight for free, train for free, you know, then, you know. Like most of your money that you spend as you're coming up is, you know, on training. So if you can train for free, you're saving a lot of money. Honestly, that would be a pretty cool life, being able to train for free. I got pretty close to it when I was in New York, but fortunately, I couldn't stand New York any longer. So many things going on there. It's just not being managed very well. And there's only so much stress you can take, you know, so I had to get out of there. But I'm glad I did visit though and get to experience it before, you know, it started dwindling. I did have some fun times, I suppose. But now it's just, it's ridiculously expensive for one. Taxes are getting more and more expensive. Like, I don't know, you have to be extremely wealthy, like Taylor Swift wealthy, to live in New York. That's what it's becoming. Otherwise, you're going to be miserable. But yeah. Basically to the point where I feel like I should own a couple properties, and I think after I close on this one, I might buy an actual house or something. I want to get like an old house, like something with some Victorian architecture that has like a steeple or something. I saw this cool house that, you know how I feel like a lot of houses are like very rectangular and square. If you've ever seen that movie Casper, from back in the day when I was a child, the house that Casper haunted, I thought that was a pretty cool house. I know it looks spooky, but I just like the architecture. I don't know why. And houses like that, with that steeple kind of style. Plus, they're also very well made. Like modern houses, there's not a lot of very well made modern houses. I feel like they're all made out of like plastic almost, vinyl siding. I don't know, I don't understand why they make houses the way they do now. Like, yeah, they look nice inside and, they're comfortable, but they're just falling apart. Like, they're so cheaply made, and, like, you can hear through all the rooms. There's no soundproofing. I think it was because back in the day, the economy was a lot better, The dollar went a lot further. You could, oh man, and in the 60s and 70s, you could buy stuff for like 50 cents, a penny, 5 cents. Like, it's crazy how much you could get back then. And people actually like made everything, but a lot of things by hand. The craftsmanship, the masonry. It was all very well done, and everything is just so cheap now. But who knows, now that they got robots, they might be able to up the quality, because they can do the same quality but without human hands. Oh yeah, speaking of robots, I was also learning how I don't know, people are saying that we should be much more worried about AI, and AI will basically enable corporations to gain more power than politicians, because I don't know how to put it, but the reason that unions in the first place had any clout is because corporations needed humans to do all the work. But now we're getting to the point where corporations don't really need humans anymore. So when we get to that point, then where's that going to leave us economically, If they no longer need humans for jobs, what are they going to do? But at the same time, that brings us to another argument, like, who's going to be spending the money if they don't have humans, They need our money, so they might not need us to work, but if we don't have money, how are they going to make money? And we need work to make money, So they're going to have to employ us somehow. They can't just get rid of us all. They can't just, ship us to Mars or the moon. So, I don't know, 2027 is going to be very interesting. With all the technology. Like, yeah, corporations definitely want to have control. They definitely want to do what they want. They want to have all the power, but at the same time, if none of us can work, then how are they going to what are they going to use us for? Yeah. Isn't that the $1 million question? We all can't just live in the street and they beg them. I mean, what's there, like 300 million people in the US, and how many people are ridiculously wealthy? Like a small fraction of that. So you're gonna have the entire population living in the street while there's just a handful of people that actually can, afford to live a normal life. I don't think that would work out, because that's kind of how, rebellions start. So I don't think that small fraction of people will be able to maintain. I mean, most of the world rebelling against them, They would have to create a lot of robots, so they're going to have to figure out some way to appease us and keep us happy and still maintain their power. That will be the next puzzle. The next puzzle to solve for the wealthy. But I think I've reached my 20-minute mark, so I'll talk to you guys later. Well, I'm probably going to be cooking later, but yeah, I'll talk to you later. See ya.